The single-screen platformer is where the platforming genre originated back in the arcades. These games often incorporated simple gameplay that was easy to pick up and play, and many of these games offered two-player co-op. Yeah, that's good enough for an intro. Let's talk about the co-op single-screen platformers. There's a bunch of Bobble games, so let's talk about some of those. The first one was released by Taito in 1986, and it has become an enduring classic in the gaming world. While the story may lack depth, the game compensates with unique and enjoyable gameplay. Playing as Bub or Bob, you embark on a quest to rescue captured dinosaurs, using bubbles to trap and eliminate enemies in over 100 small levels. Controls are simple, and the graphics are good, but the background lacks some detail. The music, while catchy to some, can become repetitive, as it's pretty much the same melody playing over and over again. Despite its difficulty, Bobble's unique gameplay ensures high replayability and long-lasting enjoyment, making it a classic worth revisiting. And to me, it's still one of my favorite co-op games of all time. Years later, we had Bubble Symphony, and it's the direct sequel to Bobble. It offers a familiar yet improved experience. It introduces 4 playable characters with unique attributes and charge attacks, enhancing gameplay variety. The game features branching paths through diverse worlds, referencing other Taito properties, and maintaining freshness. Quality life improvements such as less demanding puzzle solving and the ability to push through walls make the game more accessible. Collecting music note cards, rescuing the characters, and battling the end boss add depth to the adventure. While some issues persist, like occasionally frustrating boss fights, Bubble Symphony successfully builds upon its predecessor with enhanced graphics, music, and gameplay improvements. Parasol Stars, the story of Bobble 3, is the often overlooked third installment of the Bobble series. It turned out to be a hidden retro gaming treasure. Despite its lack of an arcade release, it proved to be a really great version of the game. The game's somewhat mysterious story involving boys turned dragons responding to SOS calls from planets with possessed instruments and animals sets the stage for an engaging 1 to 2 player experience. Armed with umbrellas, players battle creatively designed bosses, harness elemental powers for potent attacks, and collect scattered food items for sustenance. The game's infectious music keeps you humming its tunes long after playing, and it cleverly weaves elements from previous entries in the series into later stages, making it a delightful and challenging conclusion to the Bobble saga. Snow Bros offers a charming and engaging arcade experience. The NES version is the one that I played the most, and it's my favorite version. Playing as the Snowman Princes, Nick and Tom, players embark on a quest to save their kidnapped princesses from the clutches of the evil King Scorch. The gameplay revolves around encasing enemies in snowballs and strategically clearing stages. It's pretty similar to Bobble. A highlight of the game is the satisfaction of chaining multiple enemy captures into massive bonus points, and the addition of power-up potions adds depth to the action. Snow Bros features diverse enemies, creative boss battles, and supports enjoyable 2-player co-op. Its cute graphics, pleasant soundtrack, and overall fun factor make it a standout in the NES library, especially for fans of Bobble-style arcade games. Rodland is an arcade-style game reminiscent of classics like Bobble and Snow Bros. In the game, you control 2 fairies named Rin and Tam, who aim to rescue their imprisoned mother by ascending a magic tower. Unlike their bubble-trapping or snowball-rolling counterparts, Rin and Tam dispatch foes by grabbing them with magic wands and repeatedly slamming them into the ground. The catch is that you can only grab one enemy at a time, adding a strategic element to the gameplay. As you progress, you'll encounter various sub-weapons and scoring mechanics, like bonus points for collecting flowers and spelling extra for extra lives. The NES version enhances the arcade template, with faster-paced action, improved music, and options to tweak character names and colors. The game's quirky boss battles and hidden extra mode offers additional variety. Rodland offers a fun and charming gaming experience, making it a must-try for fans of arcade-style classics. Despite its ominous title, Nightmare in the Dark is a kid-friendly arcade game, reminiscent of basically all the other games I just mentioned. Players control a groundskeeper who encases enemies in flames and throws fireballs to clear stages. The horror-themed enemies including challenging ghosts with homing projectiles, make it suitable for Halloween. However, the game is relatively easy, with slow movement, and borrows its power-up system from Snow Bros. Boss fights, while offering some variety, follow a familiar formula. The game has really impressive visuals, with detailed backgrounds and colorful graphics, and the bosses really stand out as well. They're massive sprites. This is a really great co-op game to play on the Neo Geo. The original Mario Bros. Was the game that came out before Super Mario Bros., where you play as Mario and Luigi on a single-screen platforming action adventure. The gameplay is simple, but maybe if you're used to other Mario entries, you might have to adjust here, as you can't jump on top of the enemies, you have to jump underneath them, and then you can go around and kick them over. This game is incredibly difficult, but it's fun to play with 2 players. Tumble Pop takes players on a whimsical journey across various real-world locations, overrun by monsters, offering a quirky blend of arcade platforming, reminiscent of Pang and Snow Bros. In this colorful adventure, 2 matching-clad heroes wield vacuum cleaner-like devices to capture foes and release them as tumbling balls of mayhem, clearing the way and uncovering hidden bonuses. With 10 levels and clever stage design, the game maintains an engaging challenge, though the final moon level disappointingly revisits earlier bosses. Despite some national stereotypes and nods to Data East's own games, the quirky design, diverse melodies, and unique gameplay make Tumble Pop a memorable arcade experience. Funky Jet is an arcade game by Mitchell from 1992. Players take on the role of character with oversized boxing gloves in this single-screen action game. The game's objective is clear: punch everything in sight. While there isn't much of a story or background information provided, the gameplay involves using your fists to clear the screen of enemies, occasionally employing a spinning move to reposition foes for chain reactions. The game progresses through various stages, each with its own set of enemies and challenges, culminating in a final boss battle. While Funky Jet may not be a groundbreaking game, its simple yet enjoyable gameplay and quirky design make it a unique and somewhat obscure arcade experience. Yeah Yeah Beebiss 2 is a homebrew game that came out on the NES. It's also been ported to the Dreamcast, and it's on Steam. This game pays homage to the NES era, even referencing the mysterious Yeah Yeah Beebiss 1, which is a game that may or may not have even existed. You hop through single-screen stages, eliminating evils within a time limit. The gameplay is straightforward but engaging, with enemies appearing randomly, adding a touch of chaos. It may lack depth, but that's part of its charm, capturing the essence of late 80s and early 90s gaming with authentic 8-bit visuals and a catchy chiptune soundtrack. If you're interested in seeing new games on old hardware, this one is definitely worth checking out for the NES. Towerfall Ascension delivers an exhilarating 4-player archery deathmatch experience that thrives on simplicity and clever tactics. There's also a quest mode that you can play in 2-player co-op. The game's 2D map layout forces players to strategize, creating frantic and engaging rounds, and the colorful sprite graphics exude nostalgia for early 2D platformers. The limited ammo supply, just 3 arrows, adds depth, as players must decide when to retrieve stray arrows and compete for power-ups. Towerfall's local multiplayer options, match modifiers, and extensive map selection make it a fantastic couch co-op or competitive gaming experience, offering hours of fun. What's your favorite co-op single-screen platformer? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to watch our video about 4-player platformers. And thank you for watching.